One of the few bits of news to come out of the Conservative Party conference yesterday was the defenestration of Andrew Boff. And it's interesting on a number of levels. He said, as he was being taken out, that Suella Braverman was making the Conservative Party look transphobic and homophobic. That's not the Conservative Party he joined. And Andrew Boff sat quietly at the front of the Conservative Party conference listening to the speeches. He was listening to, I think, all the speeches, and I understand he's there in pretty well the same spot each year. He's quiet, and he doesn't make a lot of fuss. And more than that, he's a well-known figure. He's a member of the London Assembly, and he had stood as a Conservative candidate for the mayor, for the London mayor. He was in the London Mayoral race. So it makes a nonsense of the coverage which was initially given to his seizure. And he was seized by a gang of 3 or 4 security guards and escorted out of the conference. Suella Braverman has since said that she thinks that he should be allowed back in, but the damage is done. Now, Emily Maitlis tweeted that an audience member was just escorted very quietly if protesting. We couldn't hear his message, but she didn't seem to realise who it was. And Paul McNamara, who is one of the senior correspondent for Channel 4, equally had no idea, talked about a random heckler trying to outgun Suella Braverman. And when Suella Braverman was talking about LGBTQ plus people, he said there was no such thing as gender ideology, apparently, but he said it so quietly that even people sitting near him couldn't hear. This man was targeted by the security forces. And if you watch that speech and watch the standing ovation that occurred at the end of the speech, it's sort of frightening. This is not a Conservative Party conference. This seems more like a rally, and I hesitate to say a rally where or when. But this is about a speech to a claque, to a room full of sycophants and worshippers. It's not a conference where there is an exchange of views. Here was an exchange of views which was silenced, and I found it worrying. And the more I've thought about it, the more I think it's frightening. And this is our Home Secretary. This is the person who I'll do another video later on today. Not only has she tried to outsource care for migrants who come here appealing for asylum, but she is now trying to outsource prisons, with the idea that prisoners who are to be punished in our country could be outsourced to another country, to a third country. Again, are we going to be sending prisoners to Rwanda to be looked after in the exemplary Rwandan jails? I have no idea. But the idea that we don't need to take responsibility, we don't need to actually do the things we have undertaken to do as a civilized nation, in part of the civilized a civilized confederation of countries, that we can outsource our responsibility to countries that maybe are poorer. Yes, such countries need encouragement. Such countries need our cooperation, but I don't think they should be shouldering our responsibilities. It seems a madness. We're paying France to do its own job. All of this part of the management of the Home Office. The management of the Home Office seems to be madness, madness, and lunacy.